Folks, we've talked about the possibility of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers exploring the veteran quarterback market this offseason in free agency, and one name they are already being linked to is San Francisco 49ers quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo. Now, this is again per Mike Garafolo of the NFL Network, where he has reported that the Buccaneers like Jimmy Garoppolo in the free agent quarterback market, but might not be able to afford him. And this was a very interesting report, in my opinion, because number one, it's the first quarterback that has been semi-linked or even linked a little bit to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers so far this offseason, immediately after the retirement of Tom Brady. Brady's been retired for about 10 days now, and you have the first quarterback who is a little bit linked to the Bucs here in Jimmy G. And this is a name that a lot of Bucs fans have been somewhat interested in. There's been a few names that have been thrown out there. Of course, Kyle Trask is under contract right now with the Bucs. You look at guys like Jacoby Brissett, Baker Mayfield, Derek Carr. These have all been names that have been thrown around in circles, in fan bases of the Buccaneers community. But Jimmy Garoppolo has also been present there, and quite simply, Jimmy Garoppolo just wins. I mean, that is what he has been able to do during his time in the NFL. Has he certainly had some injury concerns? Yes, absolutely. But the guy has been to a Super Bowl, been to a couple of NFC championship games, has been to the playoffs multiple times. He is a guy that I think if you can build around him, put him in the right offensive system, you can have success at the quarterback position and also as team success as well. And I think that the Garoppolo interest is there. I think that that is legitimate. Right? And whoever the Buccaneers get as offensive coordinator, let's say it's Thomas Brown from the LA Rams. Let's say it is another person like a Todd Monken or a Dave Canales of the Seattle Seahawks. Any one of those guys, I think, could build a pretty solid system around Garoppolo to play to his strengths and put together some winning football and potentially compete for an NFC South title and a playoff shot. But you do got to be concerned with the injuries with Garoppolo, and that is such a huge concern. It's almost every year Garoppolo gets injured time and time and time again with the San Francisco 49ers, and that is a legitimate issue. You cannot have your starting quarterback getting injured. Availability is the best ability in the NFL, and quite frankly, Garoppolo has struggled with that during his tenure. When he has been playing, because overall, it looked like a pretty solid quarterback. I'd say top 15 to 18 quarterback, which I would be completely fine with if the Buccaneers could get a quarterback of that caliber. But you do have to be concerned with the injuries. That is a big issue. You've also got to be concerned with the price tag. There is expected to be some pretty decent interest in Garoppolo around the league. The Raiders have been heavily linked to Jimmy G. The Jets have been a little bit thrown in there as well. Maybe the New Orleans Saints if they couldn't get a guy like Derek Carr, though it seems like they are likely going to be getting Derek Carr. There are names out there, there are teams out there, I should say, who have had interest in Jimmy G. Guess what that does? That raises the price tag. And as Garafolo stated here, they might not be able to afford him. Again, I said this whenever I spoke in the Derek Carr video and some of the other videos I've talked about with the Buccaneers being in salary cap trouble with salary cap limitations. I don't necessarily know if this team can afford to pay a quarterback $20 to $25 million, which is where I think Garoppolo's market is probably going to be. The Buccaneers, quite frankly, can't necessarily afford that, nor would it possibly even be the smartest idea in the world right now. I talked about this before, but bringing in a quarterback on a cheaper veteran deal, great example is what the Pittsburgh Steelers signed a guy like Mitchell Trubisky to. I believe it was like a 2-year, $16 million deal, something along those lines. Bringing in a quarterback on that type of contract and then building around said quarterback could very well give you the best possibility to win. You're going to be able to bring back some of your own guys. Maybe you bring back a Levante David or a Sean Murphy Bunting, or if you really want to pay a lot of money, a Jamel Dean. You can build around your guy. You give him a good offensive system that excels the quarterback's strengths, uses the weapons that are at his disposal, like a Mike Evans, like a Chris Godwin, like a Rashad White, a Cade Otton, a pretty decent offensive line overall when they are fully healthy. that is where you can have some success. And there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks out there that are going to have starting experience. Now, I will say Garoppolo certainly has the best playoff experiences out of all those quarterbacks, going to a Super Bowl, going to an NFC championship game, going to the playoffs multiple times, and then another NFC championship game this past year. But I think that you can also get other quality starting quarterback play in the veteran market at other groups for less money. That's kind of my thoughts on the situation. So I'm not going to say that it is completely out of the realm of possibility that the Buccaneers are going to really heavily pursue Jimmy G. I think that since he is the first guy who has been linked to the Buccaneers so far, yeah, there will for sure be some legitimate interest there. But price tags matter this offseason, folks. That's one thing you got to remember. Yes, people will say the cap is a myth and whatnot, but you got to do a lot of gymnastics to make some things work, and it all depends on how you want to spend that money. Do you want to spend $20 to $25 million on a guy like Jimmy Garoppolo at the cost of keeping some of your starters on the defensive side of the football and some high-level depth as well? Or do you want to maybe get a cheaper veteran quarterback option and build around them on the offensive and defensive sides of the football? Those are the questions that need to be answered. Folks, let me know your thoughts and opinions about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers liking Jimmy Garoppolo here in the veteran quarterback market, but possibly not being able to afford him. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'd love to hear them. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. I will see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.